Okay, we are now recording. Thank you very much. We apologize for that. We should have put our house in order. Don't worry. My name is Margaret Waithaka. I am career development practitioner. For those who do not know me, I have worked in the fields of career guidance for over 15 years. I work as a director of College of Career Development. I am the board chair of CDAC. We'll be hearing about CDAC a little bit later. This is the professional body of career guidance practitioners. I also act as also the head of East Africa Career Development Association. I am also an author. I have authored Careerpedia. I am a trainer, I'm a consultant, I'm a writer. I will be with you during this time together with my colleague, Dr. Mercy, and of course, for all of you. And a very, very warm welcome to all of you. I want to talk a little bit about who we are, College of Career Guidance and Development. We are an online institution which is registered by the government of Kenya. Our services, we are able to offer, or we give programs, a diploma program and short courses on areas on career guidance and development. We also offer career information resources, quite a number of resources that you have. If you go online, that is in the college, you'll be able to see the resources that we have. We are also consultants on spaces of career guidance. We've consulted for UNESCO. We are consulted for ILO from DCA and many others that we are able to consult for, whether international and local. We are career guidance content developers. And one of the key ones is that we offered or we developed a regional career guidance and counseling framework for TVET and CPD. For those ones who will be interested in seeing this, these are documents that are on offer. They are public documents. You'll be able to see it so that you are able to get a lot of inkling about this sector. That is about College of Career Guidance and Development. We have quite a number of partners that we work with. DYC, Discover Your Career, that is actually the mother of most of these programs that we do, that still offers psychometric testing. We have worked for IRPA. We worked with them on the UNESCO program. DCA is one of our programs that is a running program. CGI, Career Guidance Institute, is also one of our partners. We have current running programs with UNESCO, Global Career Math, SAGDA, and a number of others areas on careers. We're very passionate about this sector, and that is why we partner with as many persons as possible. We've brought to you several conversations. For those ones who have not been here, you can go to careerguidancecollege.com on webinars, and it will direct you to our YouTube page. And if you can still go to the YouTube page, our YouTube channel, and then you go to Career Guidance College channel, and then you'll be able to see all the recorded documents and webinars that we've had so far. Okay, today we continue with our career conversations. It's career services for special need groups. And we have an expert with us who will be telling us much more about this. So our program is as such. We will, after me, we will have Dr. Phidel, who is an expert in this sector. I will be giving us excerpts on career guidance services and the interventions for persons with special needs. We will allow you to have a Q&A. For those ones, if you have any observation, any question, you can always post on the chat, and we will be able to answer you. Dr. Mercy will give a short excerpt on becoming a professional in career guidance and development. We'll have a word from CDAC for one of our members here. Discussions will allow for discussions for anything that you need to discuss, and then we'll close. We are going to be here for 1 hour, 15 minutes. And by then we shall be done and we'll have gotten a lot of information. For now, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Phidel Baraza. She is a special needs expert and consultant. She has over 15 years of professional experience and advisor in this sector. She really loves working with persons and children with disability, and she has a lot of passion on research, on management, training, policies, and she can tell us a little bit more. So I would like at this juncture to welcome Dr. Phidel. I'm going to stop sharing Dr. Phidel so that I can give you room to share. So thank you very much for that. So I want to stop sharing Dr. Phidel, then you can share your slides and you take us through what you have for us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mercy and Margaret. Really honored to be here tonight, and just to take this opportunity to also welcome all the people that have logged in and to be with us tonight. I pray that God is going to help us, and we are going to be able to garner so much info that we'll use in the marketplace and wherever God places us. We can't share from my end, so if you will kindly allow me.
You can't share from your end?
Enabled to be able to share?
Yes, you can.
It is disabled.
Huh?
It
is disabled
from my end.
How do I enable?
I think you need to go to settings.
Because it's only meeting organizers and presenters that can share. So I think you just need to make me a presenter, then I'll be able to share. Right now I'm a participant, so I need to be a presenter. As being enabled to be able to share, let me just say that this is a topic that I'm very much passionate about. My area is in child development and with special emphasis on neurodevelopmental disorders, and those are disorders that originate from brain injuries, and they will include examples of autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, dyslexia, ADHD, among others. I'm very passionate about it because it's a journey that I also live with my own daughter. My daughter is 13 years old and lives with autism spectrum disorder and cerebral palsy. And that has just made me to embrace this particular topic that we are sharing tonight. It is something that I love, I study, I live as a person. I still can't share. Can I?
Dr. Phidel, I had shared with you for the other one, our own CCGD one. Are you able to share with the CCGD one?
You shared on WhatsApp?
Margaret, even I cannot.
I really do not know because how do I enable, because I had done it earlier?
Go to the settings. You see the three dots.
Yes,
more
I am on
after
the
the
settings.
notes. Yeah?
I'm on the settings.
You're at the settings.
Yes.
And device setting.
Sorry, we are very sorry, participants. I think we assumed. Okay, let me try and do it from the people who are here already.
The other alternative.
I'm trying to.
If I have. Mercy, I could also share with you my slides, then you share the same to
okay, try now,
Margaret.
Today. Share now.
So that
just share now, try now.
All right, yeah, now I think I'm enabled. Thank you. I think you can be able to see my screen now, right?
Yes, we can see.
Do the slideshow.
Yes. Just a minute.
Yes, we can see.
Once I do the slideshow, I hope I'll still be able to.
Yeah.
Super.
Are you able to see when I move and scroll?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so basically we are looking at career services for special needs population. And special needs population is a wide range. We have different categories. We have persons who have physical impairments. We have people who have cognitive impairments, neurodevelopmental disorders, as I've already introduced. And all of those people are people that we are talking about tonight. And when we talk about career services, one of the things for us to know is that although there are many careers to choose from, some of us, a number of us have so much on our disposal that we can be able to go and realize that if this doesn't work, we can go to this different field and this different sector, and we'll still be able to be absorbed and become productive members of the society. However, individuals with disabilities have traditionally been limited in their career options. They don't have the luxury of many options as we have. And we find that persons and students with disabilities face many obstacles as they transition from school to work. Parents try as much as possible to have their children with disabilities go to school. They try to deny themselves all they can to empower their children, to take them to schools. But after school, transitioning from school to work becomes a problem for many students with disabilities. And the process of deciding future career options, we all know, can be challenging and involves careful considerations for everyone. But now for persons with disabilities, it is even more difficult. And that is why we are here to have this conversation tonight. And looking at different issues, employment issues for persons with disabilities, one of the things for us to realize that there are on-job problems that these individuals face. Difficulties in establishing routines and processing information correctly is one of them. Difficulties in processing information correctly when they are at work. For example, in the employment sector, probably we have tasks ahead of them. We have instructions that have been given. We have deadlines to meet and all that. And they might have a challenge to process all that. And that becomes an issue for them that they face. Another thing would be low self-esteem and learned helplessness. Learned helplessness where people have made them to feel like they are always dependent. And so they feel like I'm helpless when a situation comes, even though it is a situation that they can be able to overcome. There is that learned helplessness that is there. It is something that has been instilled in them over a duration of time. And so they have come to think and resign to the fact that I'm disabled and so I'm helpless and somebody else needs to come in and resolve my situation. There could also be impaired ability to assess strengths and weaknesses and lack of career maturity and social awareness skills. So those are some of the on-job problems that individuals with disabilities will be able to take and embrace as individual deficits from the person who has the disability. But we also have other societal barriers that are given, like the environment barriers that make it difficult for them to be able to operate, to be able to progress and become productive. And there could be biased attitudes from the colleagues, from the employers, from the even family members, caregivers, because the society always looks at them that they are disabled, and because they are disabled, they are not able, they are limited in one way or another. Low expectations from the people, because people don't think that anything good can come out of someone who has a disability. It is an attitude that is there in the society. We look at them from the lenses of misperceptions. We already put them in a particular box, and we don't think that because they are disabled, they can achieve and amount into someone or somebody that is prominent or productive in the society. And again, also overprotectiveness. I told you I'm a caregiver. My daughter has disability, and caregivers can be very protective because you don't want them to fly out and go on their wings, and because you're always wondering what happened, what if, the fear of the unexpected. All these things make it very difficult and, bring an issue for them to be able to thrive in the society. But one thing for us to note is that no matter the disability, there are many opportunities to discover and explore a wide range of career paths. And if we all get to know that, and if we all create this awareness, if we get empowered with all this information, we can be able to help persons with disabilities together with their caregivers, their family members, and the society at large. Because organizations are actively creating jobs for people with disabilities. And many industries support and welcome people with physical or any other form of impairments, be it physical or cognitive impairments or neuro impairments. There are industries that support, welcome, and employ persons with impairments. So an impairment, a disability, is not an inability, and it does not exclude somebody from being groomed to be a successful, productive member of the society. And with that, then, the big question is, what must be done? What should you and I do? What do we need to do? With that, knowing that there are strategies to help persons with special needs in career guidance. Special needs education is there, but there are strategies that we need to employ us to have and embrace career guidance from an early stage. If we embrace career guidance from an early stage, this will be very, very helpful in helping persons with disabilities. This is why we begin from early, when the child is just in their early formative years. We realize where they are gravitating. We come to look at the child, and that is the reason why I think CDC curriculum was a basis of every student, and being able to then think about how do we create safe and supportive environments to help this particular child, basing on their competencies to help them be productive members of the society. All children are different, and scientists like senses that the people have, people are able to learn. And if we embrace this for persons with disabilities, children with disabilities, disabilities will be able to into their course. Some are not able to see class over a long period span of time because they have attention deficit disorders. They are not able to sit for over 10 minutes and understand what you're talking about. And probably they are good in swimming. What do? You then begin to channel them towards swimming. Maybe they are good in photography. Then what do? Begin to harness that, art or photography in them and the like. What is it? Modeling, then harness the same. And so career guidance from an early stage, where a career guider comes in and begins to work with this child, caregivers together with their clinicians, therapists, and the school teachers and the like, and they begin to walk a certain journey to a certain goal career. The second thing that we can strategy is visiting prospective schools and workplaces. Just go and visit. It doesn't mean that you are already enrolled or employed, but if you realize that this child loves, maybe cookery, even at that early stage, when they are still in the early years, in the kindergarten, in grade 1 to 4 and the like, make it a habit. Go and visit, those maybe food processing industries and the like. If they are into photographies, go to the studios and all that. If they love pets and the like, go to and go to the vets and just visit the animals and all that. Introduce them even to wildlife and the like. In other words, visit prospective schools that embrace them. Then they will see schools that teach, that which they are gravitating towards. And then the workplaces, let them go back and continue molding them. And then with that, a number of them, it sticks on their brain. And then they love even what they are doing the more. You can do career exploration, different careers. Let them explore. Let them see all the wide range. It could be that they are gravitating towards one career that is all they know, but you just let them see a variety and then see what is it that they really like. Team building. As you are learning teamwork, they are learning to come together. They are learning to also leverage on their strengths and see how to develop. They, when you plan, they come into a routine. They know that this is what is expected. They begin to work towards plans that and goals.
Dr. Phidel.
And so you can manageable goals.
Dr. Phidel.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I think switch off the camera so that I think the network is dragging.
Yeah,
it will be better.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I switch off my camera.
Yes, yeah, it would be might be better.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Yes. So as we as we learn, as we plan, they come into a routine. A number of them with neuro disorders, you'll come to learn that they love being into routine. So when you plan for them, you break it into manageable pieces. They are able to be able to take it in. Manageable pieces, step at a time, and you walk towards a certain direction with them. That is a strategy to be used and that can be embraced. and networking with other caregivers, networking with other career coaches, networking with schools, different schools that offer different programs, networking with other persons with disabilities, those ones that are successful, have gone ahead, and all that. Networking with different employers and would-be employers. All this is good. As you network, information is shared, and as information is shared, more opportunities are actually opened up for them. Networking even with government and non-governmental organizations for these persons with disabilities. And then mentorship, we cannot ignore a place of mentorship. Persons with disability also will benefit a lot through mentorship. And that is why even career coaching comes in, somebody to hold their hand and walk with them and mentor them and hold them to be people that are well seasoned in the various fields that they embrace for career. And then as we go even to organizations and employers, appraisals and constant encouragements, appraisals from the employers, the supervisors at work and the like, and encouragements, constant affirmation, constant encouragement, people just speaking positively into the lives of these persons with disabilities helps a lot. And self-development sessions where then we encourage them not just to get comfortable where they are at, but always doing something for self-development in the particular field that they are in. So all these things, when we come in, when we place them together, we realize that they help these persons to become people that are seasoned in their different fields. Training and and employer practices were also creating awareness in the employers, and the supervisors, and so that they also embrace and they come from a point of knowledge. Allow me to be able to share with us examples of careers for persons with physical disabilities. And when we talk about physical disabilities, a picture that you see there, that is evangelist, the Australian American evangelist, and he's also a motivational speaker, Nick Vucici. And Nick has hit our screens. We know Nick. Nick lives, he says, life without limbs. Living a life without limbs has not hindered Nick to be such a powerful motivational speaker, such a powerful evangelist, and going global. And I think Nick has, I don't quite remember the many nations that Nick has gone into, but traveled to. But I think he's traveled over 40 or so countries. Nick has traveled so many countries. He is living life without limbs. And he's an example and inspiration that persons with physical disabilities are not to be left behind simply because they have a physical disability. They can be able, these are just the examples that I'm sharing, but this is not the end of it. There are many careers that they can pick from. Thinking about creative and artistic field, they can be graphic designers. They become computer animators. They can be interior designers. They can be video editors. They can be playwrights if they are, if they are given towards the creative and artistic field. And so, and many other things that they can be able to do. If they have analytical minds, they can go into the analytical thinking and mathematics field, computer programmers, office accountants, insurance underwriters, data entry operators, business analysts, given the opportunity, and us knowing how do we hone them towards this field? How do we help them towards this field? Now, one of the things for us to realize is that having a physical disability doesn't mean that a person is, their brain is also damaged. They may not have a limb, but their brain is intact. And so he's not any different from you who has the limbs. In fact, if anything attends, the person could be even much smarter than you who has the limbs and everything. So just giving the opportunity and creating a safe, supportive, accessible environment for them to be able to operate, giving them accommodations for them to be able to do their work as much as they can. That in itself is something that will help them. The other thing, if they have communication skills, then they can be marketers, marketing specialists, call center workers, media planners, HR specialists, brand managers, and the list goes on and on. Another example, now these are for careers for persons with cognitive disorders. And here I have Mabel Albertson. She was an actress. Now, Mabel Albertson suffered, I think, Alzheimer's disease. And yet she was a renowned actress. Go and Google Mabel Albertson. That having Alzheimer's didn't make her not become such a renowned actress. Persons with cognitive disorder or impairments can still do things like hairstyling, nail technology, dental hygiene, physical therapy, welding, photography, veterinary assistance, and many other things. Of course, Mabel has shown us that they can be actresses. They can do, it's just to see what is it that this person is able to do and focus. And if they can be able to do it and focus, because they have passions like any other person, then allow them to thrive in that area, in that field. We have an example of Louis Pasteur, who was a scientist, yet living with learning disability. Louis Pasteur is the one who came up with, this whole issue of pasteurization of the milk. And Louis Pasteur, I think, also suffered. He suffered. I'm trying to remember what Louis Pasteur suffered. But Louis Pasteur is one of those persons that suffered if I am sure, I'll be able to remember what Louis Pasteur suffered. Now, Louis Pasteur discovered the food industry process called pasteurization, and where pathological bacteria in milk could be killed and milk could stay fresh longer. And he also discovered that certain bacteria in the milk could be used for the fermentation process, such as the production of yogurt and other cultured products. Louis Pasteur had dyslexia and dysphagia, a condition that prevents the person from being able to write. Yet he defied these learning disabilities, also creating vaccines for rabies and anthrax. And so it is something that it is doable. People have been there, they have gone through it, and they have become successful. And so persons with learning disabilities can become mental health counselors. People are suffering and struggling with mental health. Persons with learning disabilities, they may not be able to, to be bookworms. They may not be able to write like Louis, but they can be very good counselors, understanding the issues, struggles of persons. They can be waiters and servers in hotel industry. They can be housekeepers. They can be receptionists. They can be event planners. And by this, they can be quite detailed, so to speak, given to the detail when it comes to planning. They can be even flight attendants, welcoming people, being the hospital table attendant that you would want to meet in the flights, air hostesses, persons with learning disabilities, if given to that, and that is their passion, allow them, they'll flourish. They can be cashiers, They may not be able to write and all that, but very good at, maths and very keen and be very good cashiers. They can be sound technicians. They can do very good landscaping and maintain those, lawn those moths, just be there for you and take care of your grounds to the specifications. We have career for persons with speech impairments. And have you ever known that Joe Biden, the 46th US president, actually struggled with speech disorder from childhood? Yes, Google it out. Joe Biden from childhood has had a speech disorder. Has that hindered him from becoming a US president? No, it hasn't. And so disability, is he among the bracket of persons with disability, special needs? Yes, he is. Yet he is the president, 46th president of the US. And so persons with speech impairments, food preparation, they can be very good food, cooks, writers, market researchers, mathematicians, bookkeepers, financial analysts, scientists, doctors, and the like. Any career that you think about, they are able to flourish in those careers. Think about persons with neurodevelopmental disorders that I mentioned from the beginning and say these are the disorders that stem from having an injury on the developing brain and the central nervous system, or both. And an example here is Albert Einstein, a scientist and a mathematician, yet autistic. He was autistic. So persons even with autism, cerebral palsy, ADHD, dyslexia, name them, they can thrive. They can be in the vet field. By the way, talking of the vet field, one of the very respected vet doctor, PhD holder, is Grandin. Her other name disappears, but Grandin, Dr. Grandin is a PhD holder in vets. The persons with neuro disorders can be pet sitters. They love animals, by the way. A number of them love animals. And because of that, we can begin to even channel them towards, pets and vet field. They can be fitness trainers. They can be mathematicians, scientists, sales associates, office assistants, doctors. And at this particular time, just when I'm talking about doctors, it's not just that I'm saying, I've actually taken my daughter to India twice for some therapy, brain therapy in India. And in 2018, we went and she took some time to wake up from the anesthesia that was given. And I began to panic as a parent, wondering what was going to happen. And we are in a different country altogether. I saw, of course, the doctors talking and all that. And so they told me, we are going to bring in a specialist, a consultant. I was there by her bedside waiting for this consultant to be wheeled in, to come in. And then I saw somebody being wheeled in, and I was wondering why the person is being wheeled in to come and see my child. The person came. Just from the outlook, I could tell this person has cerebral palsy, paralyzed from the neck downwards. Came in, began to speak, had a speech impairment, but I could understand because I interact a lot with persons with disabilities, so I could understand all that the person was saying. And so was there on the wheelchair, said, turn the child. The child was turned, looked at the child, said, open the eyes were open, just looked from her wheelchair. So giving instructions to these other doctors, and the other doctors are doing it. And as they do it, she's just seated and observing. And after that, gave the prescription, said, stop all these medications, 1, 2, 3, go and call in a neurologist, let the neurologist stop this medication and begin this other medication, and stop everything else you're doing. And to cut the long story short, my child woke up. I came to learn later on, this was the consultant doctor that was brought in. Cerebral palsy, speech impairment, paralyzed from neck downwards. I looked for that doctor, asked her, where it was a she. Asked her where she landed all that. I'd come to discover she actually learned and better half or part of her life was in the US. But anyway, this is a doctor thriving, a consultant doctor with cerebral palsy. And so there is a lot that we can do for persons with disabilities, different categories of disabilities. They need not to be left behind. Every person can thrive. And so there is a lot that we can do. And our question is, what kind of support needs do they need to join the world of work? If we can be able to embrace them, if we can be able to help them acquire internship programs that will help them to be able to get into the workplaces, that would be good. As we began by saying, begin career development at early stages, work with them through the primary school into the high schools, help them transition from the school to the workplace. Internship programs will be very good. And as they go into the internship program, there are possible experiences for interns. 4 main components for us to consider: the orientation process. The orientation process needs to be very clear, very given, and offering them all the necessary information. Orientation process, working together with the career coach knowing what is going on and helping and walking the journey with this person through that internship process. Then the development and management of the work plan for them. That is another area that once the orientation process is over, then we need to have the development management of the work plan. Now, the orientation process, maybe just to give a little bit more information there, is that they need to come in. They need to understand who their supervisor would be. They need to know where their office will be. They need to know the necessary accommodations that they will need and get to know the facility, the environment, the work environment, understand who their colleagues will be, understand who they will be reporting to, the immediate supervisor and the like, all those things together. And then understand their work schedules, and if flexibility is embraced and the like. The orientation process, very, very important. And even whether it has been put in the package and the packet that they're being given, again, also being done verbally, and alternative means of communication being offered for them that would need, so that it's not just, and the like. If persons need, sign language interpreters, that to be that if they are very photogenic, so to speak, getting pictures and communicating even through pictures and all that, all those things coming into play. Then the development and management of the work plan, so that they know what their work plan is, and then develop it in manageable pieces for them, step upon, precept upon precept, so that then they are able to know how to systematically follow, because some of them, they actually, they are very structured. And so if you just give them and you leave it at that, you lose them. And yet if you break it and, put it in a very structured way that they are able to follow, they know, I come from point A, I go to point B, I go to point C, they will deliver exceptionally. Extracurricular and development opportunities that you can be able to give them at work, and then inclusive and accessible workplace for them. accessible workplace. You don't expect them to be going up the flight of stairs for them to be able to visit even the to see their supervisor, or to see, or maybe to just get to the meeting room, to the boardroom, or so to speak, or to go to the washrooms and the like. Accessible workplace where they are able to know to get to the doors easily, to get to the cabinets easily, and every other person, again, embracing them and just loving on them. That is another thing for us to be able to know. And if we can put all these things into perspective and work with them, we'll have people who are at our workplaces, and will be so surprised that many at times we have left them behind when they were just the solutions that our companies and organizations needed. Now, as I come towards the end, I came across this a story about brains and phones. Did you know that there are different kinds of brains? Yes, there are different types of brains, and we can think of phones. There is iPhone, there's Samsung, there's Huawei, there is Infinix, and many more. And all these phones have their own way of doing things. Now, one isn't better than the other. They are different. It's just that they are different. Different brains also have names. There is neurotypical, autistic, ADHD, dyslexia, and all those that we have mentioned. And all these brains have their own way of doing things. One isn't better than the other. They are different. They are just different. Now, if you try to get a Samsung to use an iPhone app, it won't work properly. Not because the Samsung phone is broken, but because you're trying to get it to do something it isn't. You wouldn't try to fix the phone. You will change your approach and use a Samsung app instead. Now, if you try to get an autistic or ADHD brain to be neurotypical, it won't work properly. Not because the brain is broken, but because you're trying to get it to be something that it isn't. So you wouldn't tell off or punish the autistic or ADHD or cerebral palsy brain or dyslexic brain for not being neurotypical. You would change your approach and make accommodations for this brain instead. So in real life, the world is based on neurotypical brains. School is based on neurotypical brains. How to be friends is based on neurotypical brains. How to talk and listen is based on neurotypical brains. Success is based on neurotypical brains. Work is based on neurotypical brains. The things people expect of us are all based on neurotypical brains. But friends, what about autistic and ADHD brains? What about cerebral palsy brains? What about dyslexic brains? What about all these different types of brains? They are made to feel broken. They are made to feel like they don't belong. And so what we are saying on career coaches, career services for persons with special needs, they aren't broken. Persons with special needs aren't broken. They aren't naughty. They aren't lazy. They aren't rude. They just need our support. They are persons with support needs. Let's learn about them. Let's accept them. Let's accept the differences because they belong here too. They belong in the workplaces, and you and I can help them. You and I need to realize that societies flourish when all members of the society have been embraced and given accommodations and empowered and enabled to contribute to the flourishing of that society. Thank you.
Whoa, Dr. Fidel, dear God, we have learned so much. Thank you so much. That they are not broken. I know the society does not look at it that way, because many times we never understand that. For example, I would like you to clarify that I didn't know that ADHD is also a special needs classification. Maybe you can clarify. But I'm shocked by all these things we've really learned. And I would give an example that I went to a workshop, and then there was someone who had, especially he was blind, but he was making a very good presentation, and whatever was on the screen is what he was reading, and cracked jokes. And we kept on wondering, has he crammed it or what has happened? So now when you try to tell us that everybody has a space in this life, and we just need to know, it's amazing. I thank you so much. We have all learned, and I'm sure everybody else has learned as much as we have. So I would like to ask other people, anybody can ask question. That was such a wonderful presentation, very challenging. We have all seen people we know in the family and all that, but maybe we judge them. So I'd like you to, from my side, I want you to clarify ADHD, because I have found quite a number of people with it. It's a special needs? Do you classify it in special needs?
ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So the name itself tells you it's a disorder. It's a special needs. It is attention deficit, meaning that the person cannot, their attention span is very limited. They have a deficiency in that area. So it is a disorder.
And they can live a normal life?
Yes. Very normal life. They can live a normal life, but you need all the accommodations to accommodate them. These are the kind of children who go to class and the teachers will be shouting for them because they're thinking they are rude, they are manless, they are destructive. They'll be telling them, your parents need to teach you manners and all that, not knowing that the parents have also tried everything else. But this person has an attention deficit, hyperactivity. They have attention deficit, then they are hyperactive. And so it is a disability disorder. And so as a teacher, you have to maximize in the first 3 minutes. What do you teach them? They have gotten 3 minutes, they are done, they are out of class, and they have to move to something else. They need to run around. They are hyperactive. You need to check on their food, the foods that they use, so that you are limiting the hyperactivity in them and trying to see how to increase the attention span in these persons. So yes, it is a disorder. It's actually under neurodevelopmental disorders, brain injury.
Oh, I see. Thank you. It's very thought-provoking, and I think everybody else is feeling the same. So any other question? Any question for Dr. Phidel? Comment, observation? Anyone?
Maybe a comment. I'm completely challenged and my heart is broken for our attitude and towards the special needs population. And I think the images of the brain and how you have presented it, it has made everything, strong message to us that we need to be more sensitive and we need to be more accommodative. And even when the parents going through that, dealing with their children or their as caregivers, we need to think twice before we can comment about them. Thank you very much for that. I've never experienced something so, it's emotionally touching. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ri. Thank you, Dr. Mercy.
Absolutely. Shaheen, you have a question? Please unmute and then ask.
I must commend you, Dr. Phidel Baraza. I think that was a fantastic presentation. And I think what was really, really exciting about your presentation is that you were talking from your heart. It came out from your heart because you have somebody you're looking after at home. And so the enthusiasm, the kind of vigor and passion that we need to have as career counselors really came out very well in your presentation. Just a comment, because I feel that this is one of the group of people that is really, really underrepresented in Kenya. Other countries, developed countries like US, Australia, UK, etc., have got very good facilities, education right through from schools right up to universities. They have facilities, special facilities, whether it's dyslexia or any of the disorders or blindness or impairment. but it is totally, totally lacking in Africa and specifically in Kenya. You've been in this field for a very long time. What do you think needs to be done in order, and especially with the CBC curriculum coming in and having a policy of all inclusive, we need to have all these people within our normal schools. What do you think education institutions and the government and the policy, how do we address this issue to make it a focal point, in order to bring up, let's say, sensitivity information to parents, to caregivers, to institutions, to counselors. In fact, career counselors are totally, totally ignorant about this particular aspect. What do you think can be done?
Thank you. Thank you, Shaheen. Let me begin by saying that accessibility or participation, so to speak, means that every person is participating from a point of where participation means that every person is included and they are participating on something that is actually meaningful to them. And therefore, for these children or for persons with disabilities to participate in the education meaningfully, it means that all stakeholders must be, must be embraced and they must be working together in collaboration. And so that would mean that the parents, the caregivers, the school teachers, principals, and all that, the educational sector, the policy makers, the government, stakeholders, and the like, all of them coming together and working together towards the success of these children with special needs. When we come to think about CBC, I say that CBC is a very good platform. However, as much as it is a very good platform, if we continue telling all the children and, all the children to go and make balls, all the children to go and cook food and eat, all the children to go and make scarecrows and all that, it will still not work, because it is like we are trying to do a one-fit-all thing, which quite doesn't work, because all the children with special needs do not fit into, into one particular box. We are all different, we operate differently and all that. And so we need to realize that even though CBC is a good platform in Kenya, but it has still focused on the neurotypical child. CBC has not embraced still the child with disability, the neuroatypical child. It is still focusing on the neurotypical child, and the child with who is neuroatypical is still being left out. And that is the reason why all the children are told, go and wash the markets and clean the markets, or go and make all you the balls, go and now cook and eat and all that. But for a child with who is neuroatypical, who has a disability, what the CBC needs to do is to bring and begin conversations around all the stakeholders, as I've said, the parents, the teachers, the learners, the policy makers, and all that, and then introduce what we call individualized educational plans within the CBC. And therefore, it will mean that if that is introduced, a person like myself needs to sit down with the teacher of my child and in conversation with the therapist and the doctor, the pediatrician of the child, the therapist of the child, and we all see how is this child, what are the strengths, how are, medically, where are they at, what journey are we walking, what are the things, and, her interests, her journey and her interests, and then come back, together with the teacher and say, in that area, then let's all be working and focusing on this particular area. For example, my child is not, doesn't have speech. Now, one of the areas definitely I'll be working with the teachers And that is basically what the therapist will also be working on my child, and what maybe the doctor will also be interested in is working to develop her speech. And so as we are doing whatever we are doing, we are trying to say, how do we help this child, form speech? So whatever educational plan we have, she's 13 years, but you will not go and begin to teach her what every other 13-year-old is learning, because the 13-year-olds are not learning speech right now, who are the ones who are, neurotypical. But for her, as a neurotypical, speech is part of our learning educational plan. She has fine motor skills deficit issues. So we'll still be working on fine motor skills, selecting of rice and, and maybe lentils and sorting out things and all that. 13-year-olds are not doing that, who are neurotypical. And so that is individualized educational plan. Another person in that class will be learning something else. They may be on the autistic spectrum, but their strengths are different. And so they are focusing on different things. When it comes to maybe going out, what are her talents? She likes photography, or, posing for pictures. Can she be helped out into modeling? Probably yes, that is what they should focus on. They should focus on photography, on modeling. She likes washing dishes. When others are being told to go and cook and maybe go and make balls, that may not quite appeal for her, but she can be able to wash the dishes and the like. So coming and introducing individualized educational plans within the CBC would be such a good fit for children with who are neurotypical. Thank you. I don't know whether that
Thank you.
Excellent. Wow. I think that was a very, very informative answer. And I think it's to do with the approach, because basically if you're working on the speech and the student is along with the other students who are far ahead, I think that really erodes the self-esteem of this person. So I think there has to be a very individualized program, and that's what I was pointing towards. These are things that governments need to be sensitized and the educationists need to be sensitized on in future. Thank you very much, Dr. Phidel.
Thank you.
Thank you. The passion is unmistakable. Monica Nyaga, your hand has been up. Please unmute.
I want to take this opportunity first to appreciate Dr. Phidel. I think that was a very inspiring message, and especially for us who are in disability programming, because many often we've been left thinking that also we've contributed to the non-growth of our children and youth with disability. Now my question is, currently we are all aware that assessments are ongoing in our different counties, but apparently based on the discussion, it is evident that some, during the assessment, there are some disabilities that are not being assessed. So how can probably through this forum, can that be raised to the national body so that it can be cascaded down? Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I'm thinking one of the best places to maybe get such help is through the National Council for Persons of Disabilities. If that is channeled there, they should be able to, help and even give an answer on why other disabilities are not being assessed, and then when will they be considered for assessment. That I think would be able to help. And if somebody is not able to reach out to the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, I'm trying to wonder whether, again, going through the DC places where we have the, the social section for children with disabilities, I think that also we can be able to find such information.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Monica.
I think we need to invite to invite Dr. Phidel another time, because that is not provoking. I don't know whether it is cultural differences that many times we don't think so much about, and especially about the persons with specialists. So thank you so much. We can continue reacting and putting anything on the chat as we go to the next one. I know that we don't have a lot of time, so Dr. Mercy, I will give you 5 minutes so that you can go through the next session. You're going to tell us about becoming a professional career development practitioner, because Dr. Phidel teaches this, offers this in the diploma that we talked about, or Dr. Mercy will talk about, where we are able to understand exactly how to guide these students. So Dr. Mercy, the floor is yours. Dr. Mercy, you're here? Dr. Mercy?
I'm loading the presentation so that quickly we can be able to showcase.
Yes, Mercy?
Yes, give me a minute.
Okay, as Dr. Mercy is trying to get cells across. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So first, sorry about the technical hitch. And thank you very much again, Dr. Phidel, for this presentation. And I'm sure you have informed us that they also need support and they need the career counseling, the career coaching, so that they can be productive members of the community. And so how can we become the voice of the voiceless, and and our attitude can also change based on how to consider that they can they are productive members of the society. The special needs people can also be considered and can be mainstreamed in terms of their career conversations. So we have a diploma that that takes 1 year, that has 4 semesters, and one of the units that Dr. Phidel teaches is on special career guidance for special needs population, and that's why she's an area that also speaks to her as an individual. So the syllabus of of the diploma has 4 components of the cognitive competencies, the skills to know, the skills, the theories, the history that govern the practice, the functional competencies of the counseling, the advising, the coaching, the career guidance for different settings, and then the personal competencies. How do I behave? What are the personal qualities do I need to have as a career practitioner, so that I can be able to know, to behave differently, to have the skills for me to be able to attend to my clients. And then any professional body, any professional field is governed by ethical competencies. And so the qualification also has element of ethical competencies that should be able to be used to uphold the professional values of the practitioner. So in terms of the standards and compliance of the qualification, it is recognized, equated, and accredited by Kenya National Qualification Framework and Authority. In the assessment, we are teachers of this course, but the assessment, awarding, and certification is by ABMA Education UK. This is a equivalent of the NEC UK. It's a UK examination body. And then in terms of our registration, the center is registered by APMA as an examination center and also registered as a college by TVETA. And then we also, in terms of staffing, one of the requirements for colleges to teach in TVETA, the tutors must be licensed. And so we have some of us who are licensed. And then in terms of qualification, most of them have MA, and specifically career guidance and development from global universities. How is the course delivered? We have scheduled guided virtual classes through Zoom or Teams. And then we have a learning management system that where learning activities and any other materials that is posted. Assignments, again, are done online. And then we also know in terms of payment, we have a flexible payment plan. In terms of how do you and I apply this qualification, so either in the application of new skills in career development will either be in curriculum and course or workshop planning. If you have like what Dr. Phidel has just shared with us, she can make that into a teaching or a course unit, and then be able to use that and be able to share career guidance skills and how to handle the special needs population and different types of special needs. Then also designing, developing, evaluating, or revising education programs, integrating career management competencies in school curriculums. And one of these in the CBC, the career guidance is being mainstreamed in the part of the learner support program. So career guidance is going to be one of the areas that it's going to have prominence. There are already instructions of how in junior secondary, how career guidance is going to be organized. Then we have developing of reviewing of career information products. So we have a lot of the conversations about careers, but we still, most teachers in most learning institutions, even workplaces, we have very little products on career information. So we rely heavily on like these conversations, like webinars or newspaper articles. But if you're trained in this area, it has an opportunity. It's already an opportunity for people who have writing skills to write books that meet the standards based on the standards that are of career guidance competencies. And then we have the area of portfolios. How do people document their information and career journeys? So it's one of the ways that this can be, the skills can be developed, can be enhanced. And where would this be applied? Either as a career teacher or officer in learning, or career, or an officer in learning institutions, either career mentors in youth programming, employment and job placement services, either career consultants, career coaching, information specialists, or even advisors. Then who do you think can benefit from this training? It's anyone, it is open to anyone. And especially we have area of, if we already seen in terms of the opportunities where career guidance, that is the journey and the growth in the industry is one of the key emerging areas. So if we have any unemployed graduates and they would have to acquire new skills, then this would be an opportunity. It could be a neighbor, it could be our children, it could be it, but it is open to any person who is willing to take up this and be able to take advantage of the emerging areas that are growing. So we have 2 course intakes, May and September. So we have the September intake ongoing, and so the classes will begin mid-September, and so you are free and you are welcome to be able to apply for this. This is the faculty members, the faculty of CCGD. We have Pauline, we have Dr. Baraza, we have Nikki from UK, we have Amy, we have Polly, we have learning management support by Edward, and then we have admin support by Caroline. And then of course we have Margaret. So and then and any other support that Margaret provides is it's to enrich the faculty body. So I leave you with this the saying that was done by Beverly Seals, who says there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. So if you want to become professionals in this area to support Fidel's passion, then there are no shortcuts. So a one day or reading about something will not be, it will not give us the right competences. So let's consider taking up the course, get all the competences, and we'll be more confident when we are dealing with the population that are that able differently and be able to support them. We have one person, we have Zipporah, who teaches at Karen School, the Karen Deaf Technical Training Institute, and I'm sure her experience will be is somebody that she has learned this skill and she's already applying in her work setting where she teaches the students who are deaf. So by and large, we are inviting you to be able to do that and be able to share this information with anyone who may be interested to do that. And Margaret has already put a Google form for any person who would be keen to take up this qualification. And I think we have any question and answer, and Dr. Phidel already has a question, or her hand is up.
Thank you, Dr. Mercy. I wanted just to clarify that I mentioned that Albert Einstein had autism, but I meant he was dyslexic, not autistic. Just to clarify that, sorry, so that people don't go with wrong information. Albert Einstein was dyslexic, not autistic. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. So I give it back to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Dr. Mercy. For those ones who will be interested, you can stop sharing, Dr. Mercy. For those ones who will be interested, I have put I've put the form there. Then you'll be able to do. You'll be able to actually just come in and if you register, we'll be able to call you so that we can continue with this conversation. We'd like to have as many of you training. This market is still very green, and we'd like to have as many of you training to become practitioners, also to become members of Career Development Association of Kenya. Would like as many of you also to become that big voice so that you can make a difference into this country. So career conversations still continue. Please stay tuned. Our next conversation is about career development. Is for adults, for all of us. Do we need career development? Do we need to have this service? So that is what will be discussed next week. It will be discussed by Pauline, but we'll give you more information. Now that you're in your database, we'll be able to give you more information about this and how it will happen. For if you want to be receiving alerts on our upcoming webinars, kindly text, I want to be a member of Career Conversations. Text to that number 07438222925. And we shall add you in the Career Conversation WhatsApp group, and you'll be getting all the alerts. We have recorded this, and it will be in YouTube, and it will also be in our webinars, so you'll be able to review it should you have. So for this, I want to take this opportunity again to thank you all for coming and for listening, and to thank you, our speaker. I want to thank our speaker today, Dr. Phidel Baraza. That was such an eye-opener. It was intriguing, and we want to say asante, asante sana. For everyone, thank you so much. May God bless you. May you have a great evening. Until next week, please stay tuned. Always remember to join us. Asanteni sana, and God bless. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.